Welcome to Sky Blue Fans TV, the after-match aftermath. Well, what a ride it's turning into. 10 unbeaten, top of the league, and 5 clean sheets on the bounce. Something we haven't achieved since the season 2001-2002, when that was our first season after we were relegated from the Premier League. And add to that, 29 goals in 10 games, a brand new club record. And it's fair to say this Coventry City side is flying. That record was last held in the 1930s when we had a team that scored four seasons running 100 goals per season. So it's a fantastic achievement so far. It may not have been the prettiest performance today, but right now it's all about results and points on the board. The lads are stepping up, responding when it matters, and you can feel the buzz around the club pre-game and post-game. Joining me tonight, I have Luke and Jonah. We'll get their thoughts on the game, the run, and whether this could be shaping up to be a truly memorable season. And we want your views too. So get involved in the chat, share your opinions, your man of the match, perhaps. Tell us how confident you're feeling about the Sky Blues promotion push. What can I say, guys? I'll go to you first, Luke, but I'll just say to Jonah, he must be thinking, he's jumped on the bandwagon because, quite frankly, it's not normally like this, Jonah. I've got to say this. What's happening this season is nothing short of sensational, Luke, is it? And when I looked at the team lineup, what really, really cheered me up was the fact that Frank Lampard, yet again, is trying to play his strongest starting 11, regardless of international breaks, regardless of players just coming back from injuries. He's prepared to chuck them in. And I think this is a great sign. He's put aside this thing about tiredness and all the rest of it. And the fact that, he picked Haji Wright, although he did look a bit laboured at times today, I think is a great signal to other clubs in the Championship that we are going to put out our strongest side. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I've thought, because we've chopped and changed, haven't we? And worrying through tiredness, but it's kind of easy for us to say, well, then he played once a week and trained throughout the week, but I think Frank's changed. Maybe he's changed behind the scenes, like the training regime and the fitness regime, maybe the diet and everything. Because I've noticed Asante is a classic one. Last season, I think, you should see him sort of blowing a bit after about 65 minutes if he started. But he was on, every game that he started, he seemed to go as long until he gets subbed off, or he might even go the full 90 minutes and shows not really many signs of tiredness. So maybe it's a change behind the scenes, but no, it's good to keep coming out with the same strong squad all the time. We need that. And we have got some good subs when we need them.
Yeah, I was actually thrilled when I saw the lineup. I thought, yes, well done, Frank. That's a positive move. What do you think, Jonas? Were you surprised, or do you expect that kind of lineup today?
I was surprised with Haji, right? I just felt like it would have been smart to keep him on the bench and use him if we needed to. But I like the mentality of just trying to go all out and, never underestimate an opponent. And we showed that today, that, lineup wise, we were not going to underestimate them. And you know what? They came out to play. And if we went into this game with, I don't think it would have ever happened, but say we went into this game with a lineup that maybe didn't have 2 or 3 of the starters, we could be looking at our first loss of the season very, very easily. You get behind the head in the first half. If Rushworth doesn't make that quick reaction save on that clearance that kind of dead balled when Torp made the slide tackle into it, we could be looking at our first loss. So I just think the key word today is resilience in this team. The first half was pretty poor, and they came up in the second half and had really just 3 minutes of greatness and then just stomped on their necks the rest of the game.
Also, Luke, one thing I remember someone talking about was during that first half. Jonah wouldn't know about this, obviously, but last season, the season before, we could be 2 goals down. We hadn't started. And after about 15, 16 minutes, we're 2 down. And you're looking at a defeat straight away or a game where we're having to claw it back, aren't we? But I think there's a difference now, isn't there? Whether or not sometimes, the gods are shining on a football club and you seem to get away with things, but we kind of are finding a way in not conceding goals at the minute. Yet again, apart from a couple of incidents, get the words out, in the first 20 minutes, we were fairly solid defensively, weren't we?
Yeah, I was saying at the game to my cousin, So I'm getting to the point where I'm getting used to not letting goals in and not losing. You know, say 1 season, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, you'd be thinking, oh, we're gonna sort of whitewash. They're gonna stink us here. But I mean, I know it wasn't the greatest start, and they came out all guns blazing. They played really well. I mean, how they are where they are, they're playing like that week in, week out, Lord knows. But yeah, it didn't seem to phase me. I think I find a bit more comfort with our back line now, and especially with Rushworth in goal. I rate him so much. I think he had a bit of a shaky start, but I think these clean sheets now, we've become so used to clean sheets and so used to goals going in so early. So we're a bit shocked. You know, I looked at the board and it's like 30 minutes. I think we haven't got a goal yet. What's going on? And that's not like us to go, we haven't got a goal yet. You know, we're not 2-0 up, 3-0 up yet. What's going on?
Well, I was surprised, Jonah, with Blackburn's approach to the game, because a lot of people before the game started saying, oh, they're just going to come and park the bus. We're going to have to try and find a way to get around them. In fact, I thought they were very open, Blackburn. And although they had a couple of chances, we had a couple of breaks. But I thought Blackburn gave it a real good go, didn't they, in that first half?
They definitely had one of the best performances from an away team at the CBS this season. I think the unpredictability element is really what got us in the first half. We almost looked a little shell-shocked. You know, they changed formation. They didn't come in showing that they were scared. They went with a 3-back. And, you know, those guys on the outside, the wingbacks, really stretched the pitch and gave Milan and Jay Da Silva, more in the first half than the second half, a real struggle. You know, I think our defense, specifically the center backs, were really on point today. They kind of were getting hung out to dry, Milan and Jay Da Silva, a few times here and there in the first half, but they came to the rescue. So yeah, respect to them. They really came out, and even without their best player, they put forward a very good performance. And in the relegation battle, you know, I like their chances a little bit better now than before.
Yeah, they did a good job of quieting the crowd, didn't they, Luke? Because we sang for about 5 minutes, but I sent a message to our group saying it sounds a bit like Silent Corner at the minute, but I think it's probably down to Blackburn, wasn't it?
Yeah, their away support was fantastic. I know they sort of stopped singing, not so much after the first goal went in, but 2 in such a short space of time, I think silenced them, but it wasn't a fast, they were out singing us, and we were quite shocked. Where I was sitting, I was thinking, come on, we've got more than this, And I don't like away fans singing football in a library, not at our home, not when it's a sold out capacity.
It's interesting. I think it was 29,600. Obviously, then he brought 1,500. It wasn't. I mean, it was sold out in terms of tickets to buy on the day, but there's obviously gaps everywhere still. So I don't know how they're going to address that, especially on the top balcony, because there's loads of room there. I'm going to read some comments out. Alex L, CWR playing Footloose. What a reminisce to the start of the Premiership in 1992. Thank you, Sky Blue Fans TV. You're the best, says Colin Rowley. I was stopped by somebody outside the ground today who watches us from Indonesia, and he travelled in to watch the game. You got to up your game, Jonah. He came 20 times last season from Indonesia.
20 times? Does he have a job? What does he do?
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Neelander, jet lagged in the first half, much better in the second half. Sanjeet Chukka says, not at our best, but found a way to win. Greetings, says Mark King. And of course, we are top of the league. We should keep looking at that table. Jane Gallatley, much as I like winning by 5 goals, it was great to win a really tough game. Sky Blue J, not the best performance, got the win, sign of champions. Onto a very tough game Tuesday night versus Pompey. Yes, this is Pompey. You can tell where I went from some holiday. Pompey, I should say. Kissam says, Rushy, my man of the match. Lee Beckett, Sky Blue Army in Plymouth. Sign of good team, play below par, but find a way to win. I also say it's a sign that the opposition aren't as good as you as well, actually. Which I think is the case. Mark Patman, evening, guys. At least we won. M. King says this game. Oh, he's just shot up the page. Where's he gone? I've lost him. All my comments have gone mad. We'll find you in a minute. Bear with. I hate it when this happens. The game was the first of 6 games in 21 days. That is intense. Evening, guys, says Mark Patman. Not a bad performance. At least we won. I got the score prediction wrong. Fair play. I went for 3-0. I need another goal for a correct score. Lampard must have really yelled at them at half time. Sky Blue J, lads, 5 clean sheets in a row. It's mad, isn't it? Sky Blue Army, don't think Frank yells is just explain what's needed. Frank would. Good to see Ken over in the posh side today. I don't know what he's doing there. I don't know how they let him in. Rounds of possibility. Good, solid defensive performance with 2 lucky shots. I'll take it. 3 points. Sky Blue J, Frank has given the team and this club a winning mentality. Play poorly, no issue. We will win. Robert Mason, 523 minutes since 523 minutes since we conceded a goal, and that doesn't include injury time. It's incredible, isn't it? Because I just didn't think we'd be capable of our defence, to be honest. Pagagon, it was just a good good performance. Teams are not going to come and roll over. Great results. Mark Rainbow, the key was to wear down the press once the energy levels dropped. We started to dictate the tempo and created the chances. Pagagon there, fight for their lives already. It's not going to be easy. Glenn Watkin, good sides, find a way to win. We did that today. Wayne Litwood, even all. Subpar performance, but 3 points is brilliant. And Joiner says, I'll get this up on the screen so it won't disappear. And Joiner says, oh, crikey, this is unreal. Thought Blackburn were the better side first half. We were lucky not to concede at least 1 goal. So much better in the second half. 2 great goals. Say we're top of the league. What's interesting, Jonah, looking at the XG, it must be the lowest we've had all season, 0.8, compared to Blackburn's 1.0, which means, according to the SG, they should have won 1-0, which is bizarre because I never felt at any point that we were going to lose that game. I did think after the first half, tell you what, this could be a draw. I couldn't see where we're going to score the goals because we hadn't really. The final ball was poor. I thought yet again, Sakamoto showed that side of his game where he doesn't quite get it right with the deliveries. But in saying that, all the deliveries were poor into the final third. Obviously, you're watching on TV. How did you see it?
So I talked about this in my match review on YouTube, but I'll just kind of sum it up again. I'm sure some people will watch both, but Haji Wright kind of adopted the Pochettino game style over his last 2 weeks where he sits a little bit deeper than normal. I think he had something like almost 20 pass attempts today where he normally sits around like 5 to 15 max in games. So I think that probably was a little bit of an issue why there weren't as many deliveries and touches in the box. We had to have had a season low of touches in the box today. It felt like we couldn't really break down their back line, even with them having a 3-back. Obviously, we know like the wing backs and the defensive midfielders are sitting back and compacting back there, but it was tough to get much going. Stocks and Milan had a couple good link ups down there, down the right side, but they couldn't really get past that back line. They were stout back there, other than, the couple moments of brilliance. It was tough to score today. They weren't on it. It happens. First game back of the regular season against Hull, we were flat. First game back of the international break against Norwich, we were flat. Obviously, we got that goal in the 90-whatever minute. But I think it was to be expected today, just with all the factors. So the fact that we could come out and get the points today with a couple of moments of brilliance just shows the true ability and the fact that this is a legit top contender team, in my opinion.
Well, they're 2 dangerous players, Luke, with the 2 wide players. The guy that Milan was marking was a handful, and also on the other side, which probably why Jay and Milan didn't really get forward enough, did they, in that first half? They were definitely, it was like a throwback to the beginning of last season where we almost had a flat back 5, didn't we? We just couldn't get forward. It was a bit weird and we weren't used to it, I think, this season to see that, were we?
No, I would like to have seen them get further up, as I think they're more deadly when they do that, but they definitely were. I noticed Jay Da Silva penned back a lot, but for me as well, it was that midfield. I think we were struggling in that midfield. They were sort of dominating at one point there, and that's where our weakest point was. Didn't know what subs Frank could have made to change that. Obviously, he's brought Jamie Allen on, And I think that just added a little bit there. I think brought the fresh legs to it and just put a little bit more strength. I think at one point, I think Torp had about six or seven men around him, and he was really struggling. I think that's what. I don't think Torp had his best game, but I don't think it helped that he felt he was a little bit isolated there. It was just him and Grimes.
Yeah, Rich T says, just got home, played well for 10 minutes today. 2 great goals, we were top of the league. It was very, very loud. Frank Wood, Blackburn were the best team I've seen at the CBS this season. No way are they staying down the bottom. Mark R, how long did it feel like Torp was waiting for that ball to drop? Harley Littlewood says CCFC are top CCFC. Yes, we certainly are. Jay, Sky Blue J, Sky Blue, give Jonah a something. I'm not sure what that is. Mark R, was Ken's photo on the scoreboard? Yes, we put it up there because it's his birthday. It's his birthday on Tuesday, actually, when he was at Portsmouth. M. King, I wonder, has Coventry ever gone 10 games in a row unbeaten from the start of the season? 15 is the record. So that's what we've got to get to. 15 is the record. And Joiner reckons that Ken's taken my place in the Prawnio Baccio bar. Steve Curry, credit to Blackburn, they were the better team, but cream always floats to the top. Stephen Suddens, Blackburn were better than us in the first half, so very pleased with the way we adopted and dominated after scoring. You know what? It felt like, Luke, today, it was like when we used to go away sometimes and actually have a fairly decent first half and feel really pleased with ourselves, and then you end up losing 2-0. I can think of like Burnley away in places like that, where you think you've done enough and you think you might get a point out of this, and next thing you know, you're 2 down. And that's what it must have felt like for Blackburn today.
Frustrating, isn't it? But it's nice for us. There was a comment earlier about, we managed to play the way we did and still come out on top, still beat them, still got 2 good, they were good shots, good goals, both come within 4 minutes of each other. And I've said this for a long time, they came at us. They're probably the best team so far to come to our ground. And they came at us with a different approach. And I think we needed to win that for that reason as well, because it's almost like teams are going to run out of options. So you can't come to the CBS and sit back. So Blackburn didn't sit back, and came full force attack, and still went away with a loss. And it's going to be harder and harder to come to our ground with any idea what to do.
Yeah, our home form is ridiculous, really, since Frank's come in. It's incredible. Food Tech says, great smash and grab, ugly win, buzzing with the continued form. Big physical size still give us problems. We need some midfield animal added to the squad for them 6-8 games we have a season. Alison Berry, I thought it was going to be a draw. David Jackson, impressive game today, found a way to win against an organised opponent. How does Rodoni get back in the team? Who would you drop right now? Good question. Ian Plimlott says, yes, it is 15 games unbeaten from the start of the season. That'd be going so if we do that. That'll take us right up to the international break, actually. Robert Mason, I'm so glad Frank didn't win Manager of the Month and went to McKenna, who, despite being on a good run, Ipswich ended up losing at Borough. Lee Lishman, hi all. Thought, it'd be a struggle today. Never good after the international break. Wright didn't show as much today. Tired looking, getting results even without Rudy. Does feel like we're playing as a team. Let's talk about the goals, shall we? 2 bits of magic. Now, when we're in the ground, I'll come to you though, Jonah, because obviously you've got the replays from all sorts of angles probably. Let's talk about the first finish. Like someone's just said, it seemed an age for it to drop. But that's some skill, isn't it? To watch that ball come down, and he did the perfect strike into the ground, gave the keeper no chance. What did it look like on the telly?
Well, you know what I say. Victor Torp only scores bangers, and he just continued the streak today. It's almost getting to a point where you expect it, but it did feel like ages, but perfect mechanics, just had a beautiful pocket of space, just banged it near post. Maybe a couple bounces and, blocking vision of the keeper helped, but it was struck perfectly. Second one was as well, but that Victor Torp goal, it just continues to impress. It's crazy what he's doing, because even without the goals, he's been so good. We'd probably be looking at him as a above average midfielder this year, box to box type guy. But you add those goals in, and it's just absolutely unbelievable, because you've got guys like Haji, top goal scorer, got Brandon Thomas Asante, who could be the 10, he could be on the left, he could be on the right, he could be the striker. Then you also got to worry about Victor Torp from the midfield coming up. And we're still missing our best playmaker. So it's just cinema.
Yeah, Luke, it's funny because about 30 seconds before I said to my son, I says, Victor Torp's not having a great game at the minute. Wouldn't be surprised if he takes him off.
He said the same.
But I think most of us did. He was the first half. He was like felt a bit lost. I don't know. He wasn't getting the tackles in. We weren't winning second balls, but the second half, it's almost like we stepped up 10 yards up the pitch, and basically when that ball came down, you kind of thought it was going to end up in the back of the net, didn't you?
Yeah. I think it was to do with that midfield. Whatever they were doing was working. I think it overshadowed Victor a bit. But second half, I don't know what happened because they still had the strength there, but Lord knows what Frank said to them. But yeah, I think Torp had a bit more freedom from the that second half and that goal. I watched it and it's sort of, you think, is he going to go? Is he going to go for it? For me, it looked like it'd gone like wide at first, and I saw it going. Oh, brilliant, you know.
You know what as well? You could feel the relief in the crowd with the cheer was massive when that went in. Because I think sometimes you do sit there and you're thinking it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen today, and you accept it. A bit like Norwich when we got the last second equaliser, and a bit like Hull where it just wasn't going to happen that day. But it was a beautiful strike. Going on to the second goal, for me, this guy was man of the match today because although in the first half nothing was happening up front, he was running around like a madman, basically trying to close people down. He was tracking back. He was trying to get involved, and like Jonas says, he's played 3 or 4 positions this season already. You know, he is that utility man, and I thought his goal was sensational. It's a perfect strike. It's beautifully hit. The keeper can't move. He's just thinking, oh, he scored. Jonah, that must have looked fantastic.
Well, to be completely honest, I was making a TikTok reacting to the Victor Torp goal when that goal went in. And then that goal went in. And I added my reaction, obviously, to the end of it. But I didn't expect it to go in, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but I was talking to someone at halftime, and I was just talking to them and just thinking, like, I don't know if I love Brandon Thomas Asante in the midfield because his passing accuracy is pretty low, but I'm looking at the match today, and he had an 86% passing accuracy today. He was completely on the mark. And like you said, all over the place. He's just crazy how much he's leveled up and just so versatile. But he wasn't my man of the match today, but he played really good. And it's just every game. I mean, the standard that he has raised himself up to, it's beautiful to see. He gets the Ghana caps, and he's pushing for that World Cup spot. Same with Haji. So I just like to see him build on those. And once Jack Rodoni comes back, it's going to be an uncomfortable situation on where he slots, because he's unbenchable, right? Absolutely unbenchable. I don't know if you guys think the same. I'm sure you do. But he has to be in the starting lineup, and it might come at the expense of maybe Sakamoto, Mason Clark. Not sure what you guys think.
Well, I think you're right, because what he got, because Rodoni's out, now he's obviously a player you expect to come straight back in once he's fully fit. Well, that means other players we're playing now, Luke, have got to step up their game because they want to cement their place. And BTA has done that, hasn't he? Really, I think out of him, EMC, and probably Sakamoto, he's slightly out on top. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think he is. I've also said about his fitness, but his accuracy's got a lot better. And last season, he seemed to lose the ball quite easily. Got tackled quite easily. His ball control so far these 10 games have been absolutely outstanding. I would struggle to bench him. I don't think he is. I don't think we can bench him. Like what Jonas said, it's either going to be Sakamoto, EMC, or him. I don't like benching Sakamoto because I think he shows a lot. I think he's got a lot more fight in him than Mason Clark has. Although Mason Clark's a brilliant footballer, I think out of the 3, them 2 have the more fight in them. So I think if someone's got to give way for me, it's going to have to be Ephraim Mason Clark for Rodoni.
Yeah, see, EMCs potentially will score you more goals than Sakamoto. I think it's kind of like if you could mold all three players into one, you got a world beater almost. You know what I mean? Because they've got great attributes, and you want to go splat and put them all into one person, don't you? You know,
Yeah.
and it's almost like if you could take the good bit out of BTA, put it into Sakamoto, put the good bit of Sakamoto into EMC, you've kind of got that complete player you need. So it is a case. They might end up being rotated, but that's a great situation to be in. This is perfect for us. If you're going to try and get promoted, you've got a chance to rotate players like that. Somebody agrees with you here, Luke. We were struggling with our midfield, which is, I think you're right there. Mark R says, why the hell did they take Ohashi off? He looked dangerous every time we had the ball. That's what we said. We gave him a round of applause as he went off. It's like, thank you, get him off. Robert Mason, for me, Torp is the best box-to-box goal scorer in midfield in the Championship, and that includes Hamer. 1.5 million is ridiculous. He's turning into a bit of a Frank Lampard, is what he's doing. That's that kind of goal was the kind of goal Frank Lampard would have scored back in his day. It's and from what I gather, him and I was listening to Frank on the radio saying that the pair of them just stay out and train those sort of finishes all day, which is perfect. Hi all, says Sausage United, top of the league, 4 points clear of third place. It's fantastic, isn't it? I don't know, is it Leicester playing Portsmouth tonight, are they? It's ridiculous. 7:45 on a Saturday. That's not a traditional kickoff time, Jonah, by the way. It never has and should never be, to be honest. I can't believe we haven't had one yet. We've got 12:30 next Saturday, which is so annoying. Jonah's going to have to stay up all night. Sky Blue Jay, this is not one club who should fear in this league. Nobody has played as well as us, put fear into other teams. Borough close second. And you're right, Sky Blue Jay, consistently, we deserve to be at the top. The record speaks for itself. You can't argue with it. I can't see how those two lads in the second tier are going to cope with this yet again when they eventually mention us on their podcast. It's so pathetic. It really is. How they try and avoid to talk about us until the last minute. They give us like 30 seconds. Oh, yeah, by the way, Coventry won again. It's like that. Yeah. So sad. Which, of course, brings me nicely to Jonah, while you've started a podcast with Alex Craig, our friend Alex Craig. So that's to combat it. I don't know how you're going to get on, but good luck to you for having a go. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's called Below the Prem. We got a YouTube channel. The first episode did really well, but we are there to come with a fair representation of all the teams. Obviously, we've got our sweet spot for Coventry. I think we spent the last maybe 15 minutes of the first episode talking about them, which in a 2-hour episode, that's a pretty good chunk. But yeah, we're looking to dethrone them. So go follow the socials.
Yeah, good luck with that, mate. Mark, the opposition had an absolute nailed-on chance to score in each of the last 3 games, but for whatever reason, that's 5 clean sheets. We must be doing something right. Bobby Thomas, solid today. He was, but his passing's atrocious. I'm sorry. We can't you can't gloss over his passing. You know what I thought they did today, Luke? I think they surrounded Grimes. Grimes wasn't on the ball. It didn't feel like he was on the ball much in going forward, and they sort of left the ball to our centre backs, and I think that's where we struggle when our 2 defenders get hold of the ball, and they're the ones trying to make the play. I don't know what you thought today.
Yeah, I think it's been sort of Kitchen and Thomas's sort of it's their go-to, isn't it? Straight to Grimes and let him move it from there. And they found a way to sort of just surround him. But the one thing I do like about Grimes is, and he doesn't seem phased, does he? When he's got the ball or the ball's coming towards him, if there's a man on, he's just not phased by it whatsoever. And I love that.
Yeah. What was your overall thoughts then, Jonah, watching that on telly? Because it's obviously when you're in the crowd, it's totally different. And sometimes as a fan, you can just focus on one player and you don't appreciate what 2 or 3 other players are doing. How did you actually see the overall performance?
The passing was a little off today. I'm sure if we look at the stats, it's going to be a little bit down to the averages. There were a couple, long balls that didn't even come close. Kitchen put a couple out. Rushworth put a couple out. Grimes, I think, probably had a lower passing accuracy than normal today. But it's game script focused. Like, they are putting pressure in the midfield. There was a lot of second balls that we weren't able to win because you got BTA kind of coming up as like a shadow striker behind Haji. So they're kind of fighting an uphill battle, 2 versus 3 in the midfield. And it showed in the stats. It showed in possession. I would have expected us to have more than just above half possession, but I think it's also just a testament to them coming out to play today. Overall, I'd say my center backs and Rushworth were my men of the match today. Sorry if you hear the cat in the background, but yeah, they really held it down. I think when maybe not everyone was up to their tippity top standard, or really we just got put on our butt and just their game plan kind of outclassed ours, but resilient effort by the team, and 3 points is what matters at the end of the day. Who cares about underlying stats, right?
Oh, well, yeah, because according to the XG, it's an absolute nonsense, isn't it? Because we shouldn't have scored any goals today. Whereas, that game, what was the game where we should have scored about 20 goals and we scored the one, didn't we? Norwich. Paul Cuttyford, the technical ability between now and last season is like night and day. The warm-up shooting is 99% on target compared to maybe 30% last season. Such a pleasing feeling so far. M. King, that will mess up Portsmouth for our game with them on Tuesday, their late start today. If we get a result at Portsmouth of any kind, we're going to have to start thinking about promotion, aren't we, Luke?
No, don't say it yet. Yeah. I've been saying it since I think it's about 4 or 5 games ago. Yeah, I think we do. I think if we can go to Portsmouth, it's a hard place to go, isn't it? And if we can walk away there with 3 points, I think there's many left. I'm looking forward to playing Borough. That'll be a good one. Yeah. But I mean, when we get first place, I think first or second. I don't believe personally we'll sit in the playoffs this year. We spoke about this on the episode on the other night.
Yeah.
First or second, without a doubt. I just don't think there's anyone out there that can really sort of, when we're on our game, don't forget we'll have Rodoni back soon after the next international break. I think for us that's going to be the important thing, and I just can't see anyone beating us. Today I would have took a draw. Like you said, I'll take a draw. Keep a clean sheet, 0-0 draw. Still not defeated. So, but came in.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because had we lost, say, 2 or 3 games ago, we'd have been like, oh, typical, But now after 10 games, if you do get a loss, it's not as painful, is it, Jonah? You're kind of thinking, well, we've had a good run. Let's go again, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you want to stay above the 2 points per game threshold to stay on track for the automatics. And right now, the only teams that sit above that are Coventry and Middlesbrough. And I think maybe even last night it was shown in that Middlesbrough Ipswich game that obviously both of them are true contenders, but I think it showed that Middlesbrough might be right now at the moment the stronger of the two. So we definitely got to get up and get prepared for that game. And this was just one of many tune-ups. And they went out there and they did what needed to be done, pretty or not.
Luke, man of the match.
Ante.
Jonah, man of the match.
Pitching and Bobby Thomas. I can't give it to Rushworth because he skied a couple kicks, but he's very close too. I just go in the center back partnership.
Fair play. I've gone for Asante. I thought his work rate and the goal itself, which basically won us the game, I think that killed him off. But before we finish, of course, we're on again tomorrow night. We've got our main extended show with the team. And Joiner says, quick mention for 16-year-old George Shepherd from, why has it just done that? Typical. The comment just moved from the under 21s on the bench today. Another Cov kid. We know his granddad, Frank, gave him a lot of praise in his post-match interview on Seasontickets, and he would have given him some game time if it had been in a better position towards the end. It seems he's one to watch. It's great to have some local lads in there. And apparently, I was talking to somebody before the game who's involved with the academy, and they're saying what happened to Monga, who went to Leicester, is something that's not going to happen in the future, where they, because in the end, as he put it, money talks. So when clubs come in the past and just offer, even for kids, that money does exchange, or there's deals done basically. They're not going to do that anymore. So we've got to use the academy, and it's great to see Kai Andrews get on as well. We need these local boys. We need players from the academy coming through. Robert Mason, regarding promotion, we are smashing teams down to the bare bones. 2 weeks ago, we had 2 keepers on the bench. Today, we had some 17-year-old random. Once JR is back, we'll start bossing the midfield. And Mark R says, the Borough win last night might not be a bad thing in the long run. It keeps Ipswich at an arm's length. We're going to leave it there. We are top of the league. We are top of the league. Jonah can't believe what he's come into. I bet you're glad you picked Coventry City.
I'm very glad. And I'm glad also that it can be on record that I didn't just hop on a bandwagon, because the whole thing is documented.
Yeah, I know you didn't. Believe me, supporting Coventry City, there are no bandwagons.
There might be soon, though. There might be. I think it's starting.
And I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Danny White, before the game saying, I wonder how we can expand this stadium, because you can, that's for sure. Can't we, Luke?
Sure can. Let's get another tier in there.
You never know. Right then, I'm going. We won 2-0. We're top of the league. We keep breaking records. Maybe this is the season that the Super Sky Blues get promoted. And if we don't, I'm loving these first 10 games. So good night from me, and good night from the rest of the team. Remember to join us tomorrow, 7:30, and like and subscribe and all the rest of it. We'll be back then. Play up Sky Blues.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.